Update on the situation. I gotta add this connector pipe to this over here, to this baffle on the compressor. And what I'll do off camera, of course, I will disconnect this coolant hose from the back of the pipe. Over here in the back there's a plastic pipe which we need to remove from the engine block. I will also remove this plastic pipe over here, and I will also remove the vacuum pump to change the gasket on it. I will show you off camera what needs to be done, or on camera what I can do. Okay, so the rubber connector is in place. I have the metal ring in place, keeping it safely connected. Now I will proceed with the coolant pipes and let's see how it goes. So I raised this clamp wire and freed up this connector over here. I have used this kind of plier to remove those metal connectors, metal clamps. I have pushed a bit the heat shield on the bottom. I also used a E10 Torx, I think, and here as well a very small E10 Torx would do also the trick. Yeah, that would be it. And of course I'll have to pry off the hoses from this plastic pipe before removing it completely, just so it will be much easier to have it removed. Okay, so update on the situation. The left side or the right side, on the vehicle side, the coolant pipe is removed. There were two hoses over here. So this one, the top one, and the bottom one. The bottom one is this one. I pulled it out. Right, so here comes the tricky bit. In order to remove the vacuum pump and the bottom coolant hose which goes to the oil cooler housing, you've got to remove this engine lift eye. So this eye is used for lifting the engine from the gearbox side, so that you get a lot of space to work with over here in the back of the engine. So this is what I'm dealing with, a lot of garbage in the back of the car. So yeah, I'll have to clean a lot over there. Over there on the bottom is the hole for the coolant pipe which goes to the oil cooler. And on the back of the engine, over here you have the hole for the vacuum pump. Basically that's kind of it. I mean, there aren't a lot of things that need to be removed, but it's quite tricky because the firewall is close to the vehicle. So let me show you. Oh, it's easy. This part goes into the oil cooler housing, right? This part. Now it doesn't make any sense to remove this clamp over here when on the vehicle. Over here you've got the this clamp which holds the bottom hose, that one hanging over there by the light, and over here is the somewhat connector or whatever you want to call it. Yep, connector for to keep the hose in place, the same hose. Thing is that this wasn't broken like I've seen on other videos on YouTube. This wasn't broken, but it had a gasket. I can't see where it is right now. It had a gasket. It was pinched for, I don't know, 4 or 5 millimeters, right? And that allowed coolant to sip out. Okay, so the big coolant pipe, this isn't broken, but it's plastic and it's prone to cracking. The thing is that the O-rings on it were flush and they weren't any good anymore, the O-ring. So I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna replace it altogether. Be careful, you can remove the good working sensor. This one, I'll remove it. And I'll swap it into the new body because it's original sensor, it's Mercedes sensor. So here's the code. Siemens video. Let's see on the new ones what we've got. So this is the new one. Of course the sensor is a no name, and this is the other plastic housing, plastic component. These two bolts are undone with the E8 Torx wrench. Then we've got Torx 11s. Quite a pain to get out these ones because they're in an awkward position, and well, you can't use the this kind of adjuster, so from 1/4 to 3/8. You can't use this, you can't use the 3/8 where is it? The 3/8 ratchet. You can't use this one basically because of the height of them. So you gotta get creative. You gotta get this kind of wrench, an open end wrench, and a ring wrench on this side. It's an 8mm. You gotta use a rubber mallet, and yeah, hopefully this helps you out. Oh, forgot to say anything about the vacuum pump. The vacuum pump is working perfectly, but the fact is that it was leaking a lot of oil. Truth be told, the previous mechanic was well, let's say excessive with the usage of gasket maker. So no gasket maker needed over here. You've got this metal gasket which seals perfectly, and that's it. You don't need anything else. Update on the situation: I've cleaned the vacuum pump. I have replaced the O-ring on the small shaft. I have replaced the gasket with a brand new one. I have also cleaned very well here behind, so the seal will be perfect. Don't forget to add some grease. Okay, so surface is clean down there as well. I will leave aside the installation of this coolant pipe. I'll put right now that on pause until I figure how to push it up, because the darn hole doesn't align with the hole in the crankcase. So in order to install the camshaft magnets, be sure to install new gaskets. Put a 6mm drill on it, and then carefully press it in position and put the screws. Okay, so just hand tighten the screws, keep the drill bit in position, and we are gonna have a look in the manual for these 3 screws. We're gonna see the drill bit. We're gonna apply a torque of 8 newtons or 10 if you don't have a torque wrench which holds 8 newtons. Do the same for both and you're good to go. After both of them are properly in position, installed, you need to put in the rubber grommets. So there's nothing in here that says something about how to install the grommets. Nothing. Pull out the twist and insert the cap 5 into the camshaft or exhaust. Pay attention to correct seating of cap and sealing ring of cap in the camshaft. Nothing says how to add those caps, so you just have to push them in without pressing them too hard or puncturing them. So what works good without doing any damage to the grommet, you take a 3mm drill bit. So you see as the 3mm drill bit. Okay, you put it in a tall socket, a tall 4mm socket, so that you have enough side-to-side wall stability, or even lower for that matter if you have one, and use an extension or a 1/4 inch extension so that the drill bit doesn't come out from this side, that you don't hurt your hands. Once you are ready to install the grommets, the caps, whatever you want to call them, just make sure that you will add some WD-40 silicone lubricant or some all-purpose grease, and when you push it in, press it with let's say a slight force, very little force, and it will pop in position and you'll have a very positive effect while doing so. I said that I'll be back with how to install the top coolant pipe. So I had bad luck using an aftermarket component. Fortunately I had to go back to the original one. My luck on this specific topic is that this is still in pretty good shape. It didn't blow up or anything like that, and if after some time it will blow up, it's easily, well, relatively easily accessible, and I can get to it. It's just over here. I don't have to take half the car apart. Anyways, on that note, I had installed a new gasket inside. I put a new o-ring on this sensor. I used the brand new circlip. but I used the original sensor, so everything good there. And well, rest is as you can see it. It really helps a lot if you remove this heat shield. You have a screw over here and a screw over there. You don't need to unscrew that one all the way out. You just need to unscrew it a few turns and have this one loosened all the way, removed, and then you can flip this and have it pushed somewhere around here. Okay, so update on the situation. I have cleaned the ports as best as I could. I inserted the rug, something to wipe your hands with. So I inserted the cloth inside each port to have to catch the falling debris from the injector ports. I then cleaned the injector ports with a deep socket and a cloth on it. After which I have installed new gaskets onto the intake manifold. Also, I have removed the throttle body. I cleaned it, spick and span. I put a new gasket in between. You see the positioner for the new gasket. So I then adjusted the manifold in position using the upper two screws. Now they are removed because I'm preparing to install the injector manifold, the injector common rail, or the injector pipe with the injectors, whatever you want to call it. So have the two top screws threaded in. It's gonna make your life easier. Over there, don't forget to put the bracket that holds the electrical loom onto the bolt. On this bottom part you have, let's see if I can get it on camera. I think you can see it, or not. Anyways, so you've got a hidden bolt over here, one bolt over here, another hidden bolt over here. So this hidden bolt and this one is quite easy to insert, but this one is a bit trickier. So you need a magnet like this, an extensible magnet with a very small head to insert the bolt into the hole. Once it is in the hole, you just slide the magnet to one side or to the bottom and it will be removed. Anyways, that's the whole trick to installing the manifold. One more thing to mention is that I've cleaned the injectors, well, the bodies of them, not the insides. They weren't dirty or something like that. One injector was changed by the previous owner. Anyways, I added some grease and new o-rings, right, so that when you insert them they're gonna fit in really easily. Situational update, or update of the situation. After the manifold was installed and the injector rail was installed, I have installed this elbow pipe. So it's a bit tricky to put back, but nothing really out of the ordinary. So you'll have to undo those screws, those two screws, that one and that one. Now originally those two screws were not those two types. They were this kind of metric 8, I would say, or 6. No, yeah, I think it's metric 6, most likely metric 6. Thing is that the other one tore off. This is a good one, just had it removed with the Loctite on it. Anyways, I installed those two screws because they have more tread on them, so it's easier that they get the proper grip on that compressor support. Anyways, so those two screws needs to be undone, and then you can move the connector pipe over there a bit lower and have wiggle room to put the elbow in position. Okay, have the new gasket installed, have it greased on the inside so it can slide in easier. Anyways, this is how it looks. Now the next step for me will be to put the electrical wiring over here, but prior to that I'm gonna put the belt on so that I can put then the other silencer on the intake manifold. So let's put the belt on. The belt diagram looks like this. So it goes up top on the power steering pump, down bottom the alternator comes up again against the water pump, goes on the tensioner, then goes on the crankshaft pulley, and then the compressor, the AC compressor, the supercharger, and then on the guide pulley. To installing the belt, you need to degrease the pulleys so that no grease will contaminate the belt itself. Also, have in mind that you need to depress the tensioner pulley using this big Torx. I would think, if I remember correctly, that it's this one. Yep. So the Torx specific for this is Torx 60 TX60. It's quite big boy. So I'll show you after I've installed the belt. This is how it looks like. Belt goes on top over here, moves bottom side to alternator, comes back against the water pump. On this center piece it comes against the tensioner, then it comes onto the crankshaft pulley, then on the compressor, AC compressor flywheel, and after that comes onto the supercharger, and then it gets back to the idler pulley. Okay, so again, the coolant pipe, I changed it. I bought a new original one, installed it already, not a big deal. Again, let's rehearse it. You have to remove that bolt over there, that one. You need to unscrew that bolt, but not by very much. Okay, so this needs to be unscrewed. That one needs to be removed. You then pull out this heat shield onto the side, after which you will unscrew that bolt and unscrew the bottom bolt. Pull out the old one and pull in the new one. Let's see what happened with the old one. The old one, when I pulled it out, this part was inside the engine. It was ripped apart. This holds the o-ring, so it was ripped apart. Anyways, what I've done is I have repaired the insulating heat shield on the first injector electrical wire. I also repaired this electrical connector heat shield and done this grounding wire and this one.